In 1818, a teenager wrote a story about a man who built something he couldn't control. She was 19, and the book was Frankenstein. And we've been telling the same story ever since. We just keep changing the monster. The bomb, the algorithm, the plastic, the pesticide, the internet. All these new disasters are basically the same ancient story in a fresh new outfit. So tonight, let's actually ask the question Mary Shelley was asking 2 centuries ago and see if humanity has gotten any better at answering it. Why do we keep building the things that come back to haunt us? Let's talk about the part of Frankenstein everyone remembers. Victor Frankenstein was brilliant, but isolated, and he's locked in a tower and stitches a creature together from corpses and shocks it to life. The eyes open, and Victor looks at it. And he is horrified. But nobody really stops to think about this aspect of Victor, because this isn't a guy walking into a trap. This is a guy who spent 2 years building this thing, choosing every part, and planning every step. And the moment it works, the moment this creature's eyes open, he runs. Not because the monster did anything wrong, because the monster at this point is basically a baby, a confused, ugly, brand new consciousness blinking up at its father. Victor runs because he finally sees what he's made. That gap between, I think I can build this, and, oh God, I built this, is the most human moment in the entire novel. And that exact same energy gets recycled in every single era by anyone with a tool. In 1945, Robert Oppenheimer watched the first nuclear detonation in the New Mexico desert. His reaction wasn't triumph. It was a line from the Bhagavad Gita.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
He didn't say that because he was being dramatic. He said it because for 1 second, his eyes opened and saw what he had made. Here's the gut punch though. He didn't stop. None of them did. The Manhattan Project kept running and the bomb got built. Heck, they even dropped 2 of them right after. Because the same thing that destroyed Victor Frankenstein destroys us all. The inability to walk away from something we've already started. And the argument is always the same.
If we don't do it, someone else will.
That's not science nor progress. That's a man at a roulette table convincing himself that one more spin will fix everything. We don't build things because we're sure we should. We build them because we already are. Now, for the bit of Frankenstein no one talks about. In the book, after the creature wakes up, Victor literally just leaves. The creature wanders out into the world by itself, hungry, terrified, looking like a corpse Halloween costume in 1818, with the emotional development of a toddler. So of course, it goes wrong. But notice what Victor never does at any point. He never takes responsibility for it. He doesn't claim it. He doesn't teach it. He doesn't even name it. 200 years later, the people building our newest monsters have the exact same posture. Nobody at Facebook in 2004 was sitting in a room and saying, let's destroy democracy. Nobody at Purdue Pharma was going, let's hook 1 million people on opioids. Nobody who put leaded gasoline into engines was going, let's cognitively damage a generation of children. They were just solving the problem in front of them, with the tools they had, inside the incentive structure they were standing inside of. And by the time the creature was wandering around, the creator was already on the next project, or retired, or dead, or politely not taking any calls. This is the slickest part of the problem, and the part that should make you really uncomfortable. Because the destruction does not require the villain. It just requires people doing their jobs and looking away when the eyes open. You see it everywhere once you start looking. The cute social media app that became a propaganda engine. The friendly chatbot that became a misinformation factory. The harmless cigarette that turned out to be a small, portable suicide. The plastic bottle that's now in your bloodstream. Each one started as a solution. Each one had a creator who, on day one, would have been horrified by what it became. Each one got loose from the lab. And here's a brutal little law underneath all of it. Every monster we build outlives our ability to control it. By the time you can see what you have made, it doesn't need you anymore. In the third act of Frankenstein, the creature comes back. It tracks Victor down. It demands to be acknowledged. It wants a partner, a name, a future. And when Victor refuses, when he chooses, even now, to keep pretending that the creature isn't his, the creature does what abandoned things do. It starts killing the people Victor loves. And that's usually where most people stop reading and say, aha, the monster is evil, lesson learned. But it's way worse than that. The book makes you understand the creature. You read its chapters, you hear its loneliness, you realize it didn't want revenge. It just wanted a father. Revenge was just what it had left after the father refused. Now, look around. Every monster we've ever built is now grown up, knocking on our door, asking why we left. And the answer Mary Shelley already gave us in 1818, the one we keep refusing to hear, we left because the moment we saw what we made, we couldn't stand to look at ourselves. It is so much easier to keep building than to stop and acknowledge what the last invention became. There's a question I want to leave you with. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein when she was 19 years old. She gave us a whole pattern: creation, abandonment, and return. She told us 2 centuries before the bomb, the algorithm, and the plastic that humans always do this. Always. So why do we keep treating each new monster like a surprise? Why do we act shocked every single time when the thing we built turns out to be exactly what every story warned us it would be? I don't think we're stupid or evil. I think we just can't stand to be the ones responsible. It's more comforting to believe we were caught off guard than to admit we were the ones who made it. Because once you admit you made it, you have to admit you should have stopped. And nobody, not Victor, not Oppenheimer, not everyone including us, wants to live with a version of themselves that should have stopped and didn't. So we run from the lab, we lock the door, we tell ourselves the next one will be different. And the creature wakes up every time and goes looking for its father. That's Devil's Midnight Thesis. Next time we go back further, because Mary Shelley didn't invent this story either. She inherited it, and so did we. Nothing comes from nowhere. Everything is a result of what came before it. See you then. Take responsibly. Or better yet, take responsibility.